This is David Beam, the professional wrestling talk show for the Northwest in Salem, Oregon. This is my guest tonight.
I'm Greg.
Greg
Hiltz. Thanks for having me, David.
Thank you. My question is, 50s and 60s, we had professional wrestling in Salem area. Some of them did pass away, some of them still going. I would like to know how you feel about professional wrestling in the Northwest.
Well, my experience with with pro wrestling is really more like in the 80s.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was, I'm almost 40 now. So I was watching, on television. I was watching, Hogan and Macho Man, Miss Elizabeth.
Yes.
And and a few others. So as far as wrestling in the Northwest, I'll be honest with you, I went to my very first live local wrestling event just last year. Arlen's in the control room. He probably remembers,
Yes.
But it was at a middle school here in town, and they had a WWF wrestler visiting.
Nick Roberts, he was here.
Was he here? Really?
Yes, he was.
The guy I saw was the one with he wears like fangs.
He's coming back.
What's his name?
Andrell, he's coming back.
I don't know if that was him, but yeah, he looked worn, but he had the energy, man.
Yes.
And the women there really wanted their picture with him.
Yes.
And some of the guys.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my first experience with Northwest wrestling. Was going to that, and that was just last year.
I started to watch professional wrestling in the Grand Theater in Salem area.
Really?
Yeah, I met almost every professional wrestler was here in person. I talked to a lot of them on WWF in the Northwest too. Used to be here, and the first one I worked with, Sandy Barr.
Okay.
I'd be a roadie with him.
No kidding.
And I've been with him doing that, but I like to talk about the professional wrestling back in the 50s and 60s and 80s. Mm-hmm. How you feel about with the kid? You think the kids would like it, or they won't like it?
Well, that's a good question. I'm finding, and maybe some of you other class of 90 to 95ers will understand this, but at my age, I'm not really sure that I know what kids are gonna like anymore. Right? Yeah. I think they're gonna like something, and then it turns out I'm a big geek.
Yeah.
So whether the youth of today are gonna be all that into pro wrestling, I'm not sure. But I can talk about how into wrestling I was.
Yeah.
Because it was a lot of fun. I mean, we had. So the guy I remember the most. This is the one I'll talk about a little bit, and I think Arlen has pictures to show later. The guy I remember really stood out to me was George the Animal Steel. Do you remember George?
Yes, I do.
Do you? What was his hook? What was the thing that he did?
Carry a stick.
Maybe. Did he?
Yeah, he did that the first time.
Oh, really? Okay.
And
he seemed like an older guy when I saw him, so maybe he'd been wrestling a long time. I don't know.
Yeah, but he changed the policy of doing the wrestling stuff. He don't hardly do it anymore because he retired.
George Animal Steel, is he alive?
He's still going.
Really? Good.
Still alive.
Great.
But
it's got to be about.
But I like to see more families will come and be on my show, and the kids to be on my show and talk about professional wrestling for the families.
Well, maybe that's why George the Animal Steel was so appealing to me as a kid. Yeah. Because his hook, well, first of all, he walked around like this, right? He just kind of like Yeah. He was really just like a tough, like an animal, right? Yeah. But here's the fun part though. At the end of the match, he would eat the turnbuckle.
Yeah.
Do you remember this?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's what I was getting at before. Because he would, really, there's like foam, blah, blah, blah. Oh, and he's eating the turnbuckle again, blah, blah, blah. And then they cut to the commercial, and they come back, and there's a new turnbuckle. Yeah. And then out comes Jake the Snake, or...
Yeah. And we need to talk about Ric Flair.
Okay.
How
he had like feathered
how he got started.
Hair.
He started in the Northwest.
I've heard that.
In Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
Then he went to Salem. Then he went to WWF, WA, WC. Then he went back here. Mm-hmm. and then he left for a while. Now he went back home.
Does he still have like a really good tan?
Yeah.
He does. I thought so. Does he still have blonde hair?
Yeah, still around.
Is it bleached, do you think, or
I don't know.
Do you think it's
but he
maybe
got a lot
actually
of
white?
fans on his side.
Well, I believe
He
that.
a lot of kids, and you know.
Oh, yeah. He's bald.
He's bald.
Aren't we all? You want to see it? Oh boy, it's
I'm
not
bald
quite.
too.
It's not quite. There's actually hair. I have to insist that there is hair growing out of every square millimeter of my head, but maybe not very many in some of those.
And some people did like Matt Bourne,
Okay,
Gorgeous George,
that name I know. He was
Jimmy Snuka.
Jimmy Superfly Snuka. See that I remember. I remember that one. I also remember Junkyard Dog.
He was here.
Was he? You know, I was just thinking about this the other day. Don't ask me why, but really don't ask. But I remember that some of those guys had like a word written across their butt.
Yeah.
And I remember Junkyard Dog had the word thump.
Yeah.
I don't know why or what that was. I mean, it was like an iron-on.
Yeah.
And at a certain angle, it said hump.
Yeah.
That's what I remember.
But I like to see the fans come here and be on my show.
Yeah.
And I like family be here on my show, talk about way back the 50s and 60s and the 80s, fishing and wrestling.
Right.
Then they know how the kids feel about going to watch them.
Oh, okay. Well, if I could speak to that for a moment for the sake of your audience.
Yes.
David Beam here is a longtime Salem resident and a big wrestling fan, and he wants people to come on his show. I work here at CCTV, and I've already revealed that I'm not a huge wrestling follower. I remember wrestling, and I was big into it from like 1985 to 1987, right? And all these pictures that we've been showing all day are all stuff that I remember, right? But David here, he knows a lot about wrestling, and I think what you want to get in here is not just kids
I
or
want
adults.
fishing and wrestling. I want all the wrestlers come in here and be on my show.
So you want the wrestlers to come on the show, which I think
I
you'll
want
get.
all of them.
I think I don't know if they'll all come, but I think you'll get some. And then you also want parents and their kids.
Yes, the parents and the kids come to be on my show and talk about that.
Right, right. I just remember it was just high drama, you know? I mean, it really was. I mean, those shows were, I mean, I'm not going to, the overused, guys ballet thing, but I mean, really, it's
Like a little show.
intense. It was intense, though.
Yeah.
I mean, even as a kid watching it on TV, and I can only imagine the live shows as a kid when you're like right in there. I just remember being just like, it was just intense, man. I mean, you really believed it. I remember, you know what? You want to hear a funny story?
Yes.
So I mentioned Miss Elizabeth earlier. There was a running storyline where, she worked with Macho Man, right?
Right.
You remember that? And there was this running storyline where they were like not getting along or something, I want to say, or just, butting head. I don't know what it was. And maybe they were, I don't know if they were supposed to be a couple. I don't even remember that. But I know that there was like the end of some match and he held the ropes open for her.
Yeah.
To let her in, and like the crowd's cheering, and I remember, I swear to God, a tear came to my eye. Oh, I haven't thought of that in so long. It's true. That's a true story. I didn't break down, but I was like, oh, he's holding the ropes for her.
Yeah. But I think that would help the people in public know what I want for my show.
Right.
I don't want no bad wrench, anybody get hurt on my show. I
hope not.
No, I'm just saying, I want everything local. Everybody get along. Don't hurt nobody. Just everybody get along, be on my show, and talk about wrestling. That's all I want on my show.
Well, that makes perfect sense.
And I want
it's a talk show. I don't know how many people could really get hurt on a talk show.
No, I want truck drivers to be on my show.
Okay.
I want most everybody to be on my show.
Are you thinking just like one guest at a time, like me, or do you want like a whole group of people?
Well, I really like to have 2 people
Okay.
on my show, or 3, whatever that we can get. But I want teachers to come to be on my show too, talk about sports, what do they want to go to, wrestling school or what?
You'd be real. I remember when wrestling was big and we were in middle school talking about it, and like the PE teachers did not want to hear about professional wrestling at all, because they were like, "It's not wrestling," and we're like, "It's awesome, it's so rad."
But some teachers do like wrestling.
Theater teachers, maybe.
Yeah.
Just a guess. But I tell you what, though, I was just looking at all these pictures of these guys, looking at pictures for our show here, and I was really struck with, I mean, at the time, they just looked like action figures to me.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I didn't really understand that these guys were, like, seriously cut athletes.
Yes.
I mean, guys who not only
Work out.
they look, well, obviously, they definitely, they keep their fat down.
A lot of them work out in a gym.
I'm sure that, they're lifting, they're
Weights
absolutely cut, they look like movie stars, and they take an incredible beating every single time they go out there.
Yeah.
So it's pretty impressive. It is athletics. It's athletics theater.
Yeah. And I like to see businesses come to be on my show, talk about that too. Because people do want to come downtown. It'd be good come out and to see what my show is doing for the people in my, in the city.
So let me ask you this. When you have people come on your show, you want to talk about wrestling?
Yes.
Do you also want to talk, mostly what we've talked about is how you want your show to be. And that's good, because I think it's really important
my show is
to recruit people to come on.
My show is going to be like family show. Not bad stuff. I want to talk about wrestling in in the past, what is going to be in the future.
Well, good. Well, there's a lot of parents have a problem with wrestling. They think it's violent. Well,
some of them it doesn't matter is it violence or what. They could come and see my show, how I can do it, and then they can learn. Maybe they want to go into wrestling school, or they want to go do something else in their life.
Cool. Well, it sounds like you've got a pretty, fairly clear vision for how you want to use wrestling as a platform to teach people.
It's not
about
violence.
CCTV and about.
It's not violence.
It's not about the violence.
No.
But it is wrestling.
Yeah, professional wrestling. I meet the wrestlers when they'll be on my show.
Okay.
And get to know them.
Well, it would be definitely if you can get wrestlers in here, and it sounds like you.
I did. I had
Jeff,
Jeff Manning on my show.
Jeff Manning,
the promoter.
Arlen, did we record? Did we record Jeff Manning? Yeah. He's gonna nod at me if we did. Can we show a clip of that?
Let's show. I want to have you be my guest and talk about wrestling and what you did in the past, what you're doing now.
You want me?
Yes.
Stump, I'm a little worried about that. Oh, by the Stump, by the way, everybody, Stump. Stump is, what do you do? Obviously, you don't talk very much. That's one thing we notice you don't do. So what was your question again, David? I'm sorry. I get a little forgetful at my age, being 33 now.
But I want to talk to you what you've been doing in your in Spencer for wrestling.
Okay.
And I want to see what you're doing in the past, what you're doing in the future, what you want to do for Oregon, for Spencer, sports, for wrestling.
Boy, you ask a lot of hard questions. You ask hard. How am I supposed to answer all these questions? So how about asking me one question at a time to help me out? First question. Stump, pay attention now. It could be. By the way, I'm thirsty. Can I have a little something? Hold that for a moment. It was David, right?
Right.
David. I'm just checking. David.
Right.
Thank you, Stump. One moment, folks. I've been out on the road a lot, and I have I'm very dry. Perfect, thank you. Oh, hang on a second, David. I got a little problem here. Just a moment. I'm doing a TV show with David Beam. Call me later. Oh my God, these people are so stupid. Anyway, go ahead. So first question.
The first question is what have you been doing on traveling?
Oh, traveling. Well, a lot of things, David, on traveling. I work with a group that is based in Los Angeles. They're called Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. Hollywood! Very good, Stump. And we do shows down there with them. And I also have traveled to Orlando, Boston, Philadelphia, Jamaica, all the fun places. We do shows all over the world and the country. And being as I am a world famous attorney, my well, people just need me. They need me to represent them, to help them, and do everything that I should be doing to make them successful.
Right.
So the travel's been good. Why are these lights flashing back and forth? They're going to make me dizzy. Stop the light flashing. Good Lord. That's David, right?
Right.
You're still Stump? Okay, just checking. So we travel, we do shows. We, of course, have our shows here in beautiful Salem. My glasses are crooked. Salem, Oregon. We started a brand new television show up in Portland. Are you aware of that?
Yes, I did. I watched it.
Rumor has it you were up how late at night?
3 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
What time was the show on?
12.
Okay, I'm not allowed to say where it is probably because that would be a commercial. I understand we can't plug anything here
Right.
except you and me and can I have a glass of water, please? But we started that show. It's on every Saturday night at midnight on a local television station. I'm sure you can all find it. Excuse me, folks. I talk a lot, so I need to keep myself freshened. And we got some other big news we're going to be able to announce here soon about some other shows that we'll be doing. But I've been around for how many years have I been doing this, Stump? You're no help. Been doing this for about 22 plus years. So I started back in the dark ages.
And you used to be a referee.
I refereed back when I didn't know any better, and I thought I could do the law as a referee. It didn't work out. But I refereed for 20 years, trained Stump to referee. Yeah, nod your head. Hang on a second. I'm sorry, this phone. You know, I am a popular attorney. I'm sorry, folks, but this got to. No, if I told you once, I've told you again. Do not call while I'm doing a television show. Show respect for David and Stump later. I'm so sorry. Where was I? I apologize. I forget a lot.
Oh, you was talking about you were traveling and you did a lot and attorney stuff, and you've been going around to different countries and states and doing your show. So.
Right. Okay. So I started back in. I guess I could give you a little history. You want some history?
Yeah.
You're not going to take notes and use
Nope.
this again. It won't be up on Facebook, or you're not going to tweet this or
Nope.
or Snapchat me or anything bad.
Between you and me, I'm not going to do that.
What about him? He's still in the room. Stump is still.
He's
isn't he?
fine.
Okay, so I started my career back in 1980 something. Was down in Northern California. There was a group called Bay Area Wrestling, run by Woody Farmer, who has since passed on. Woody was a piano mover, by the way, in real life. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Did you know who Woody Farmer was? Have you heard the name?
No, never heard.
We were just going to be friends, David.
But I did stuff for Sandy Barr.
Okay, I work for Sandy as well. We'll get to see. I'm going in chronological order.
Okay.
That's from first to last.
Okay.
I could go from last to first if you'd
No,
like.
that's
no,
fine.
First to last is good. Okay. Stump, you're not helping out at all. So, started in the Bay Area back in the 80s, got trained to actually be a wrestler, believe it or not, because we all had to learn being a wrestler to be a referee. My very first job was, and don't laugh at this, nobody laugh at this one, I'm going to be angry if you laugh. I was what today they would call it a ring girl. I was a ring guy. When the wrestlers got in the ring and they threw their jackets somewhere, I would pick it up and, excuse us. Oh, pardon me. We'll wait for Stump to finish coughing. You all done? Okay, thank you. I was the ring guy, so when they throw their expensive gowns and jackets off, I would go take it back to the locker room. One day, a referee didn't show up, and they said, you're going to referee. I had no idea what I was doing. Somehow I got through it, and that was my first experience back, and it was 80-something. I don't know when the hell it was, a long time ago. And then did some other refereeing down there for a few years. Mrs. Lipschitz and I decided to move to Oregon because we wanted to get away from California. California's not, it's a nice place. I love the beaches, the beautiful women, but of course being married to Mrs. Lipschitz, hanging with other beach babes, not a good idea at all.
No.
You understand, because you've had a lot of women in your life.
Right.
We were talking about that off camera.
Yes.
The man is a chick magnet. I'm not kidding you. It's just amazing. Are you a chick magnet, Stump? Is there a Mrs. Stump? Okay. We're working.
So who was that we just watched?
This would be Jeff Manning with me.
Okay. So the audience.
I want the fans to see that.
The audience just watched Jeff Manning in the clip with you talking to him.
Yep.
And now they're coming back to us in 3, 2.
My name's David Beam, and this is Talk Show David Beam, Professional Wrestling in the Northwest.
And I'm Greg Hiltz. I was David Beam's guest today. Not quite as famous as the little clip we just saw, but it was a good time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can I shake your hand?
And I like to see more fans out there to come to be on my show and businesses, and then see how it is for the kids
David,
and the family.
How can they contact you to let you know?
Call the studio.
Okay. Maybe. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Call channel 22.
You know
or
what?
Channel 1.
I would suggest. I work at CCTV, as you know.
Call
right?
you.
I would suggest. No, but I would suggest.
Arlen.
You can call Arlen. Absolutely. Arlen Robinson. What's your extension, Arlen? He's gonna call it out over the thing. Or do you want to give me the numbers? Never mind. You know what? He's gonna call. You're just gonna call CCTV at 503-588-2288. And you'll
Call
be able
anytime.
to dial 3, and then it'll give you a list, and you can get to Arlen.
I'll be on my
I would
show.
say you could even email Arlen at cctvsalem.org or go to CCTV's Facebook page and just post right on our timeline.
Please.
And tell Arlen, I want to be on David Beam's show, right?
Yes, I'd like to see all some wrestlers to be on my show. I get along with Jeff Manning. I like to be on this, get this done. I want to have every month to have my guest on my show.
Awesome. Families,
And I want family to
kids,
be involved.
anyone who's interested in nonviolent violence in theater, or if you're a wrestler yourself,
Yeah.
come be on David's show. I had a good time.
Thank you.
Thanks again, David.
Thank you.